Ancient Egypt believed in many things, but above all it believed in order. The universe was held together by cosmic balance, truth, and harmony. Every pharaoh was expected to embody it in life and submit to it in death. Judgment was not optional. It was the mechanism that allowed the dead to pass into eternity and ensured the gods themselves remained in balance. Which is why one missing name still disturbs historians. Among Egypt's meticulously recorded dynasties exists a silence so deliberate it feels violent, a reign erased from king lists, a cartouche chiseled smooth wherever it once appeared, a pharaoh whose memory was not simply neglected but hunted down and destroyed. And yet his tomb was never robbed. The power of a name to understand the fear surrounding this forgotten ruler, one must first understand the Egyptian concept of the name. A person existed in several parts, the body, the soul, the spirit, but the name was essential. To erase a name was to annihilate a person completely, denying them existence in both worlds. Enemies were sometimes cursed in death, their names scratched out to weaken them in the afterlife. But this pharaoh suffered something far more extreme. His name was removed from every official record. Later scribes altered king lists to jump directly from his predecessor to his successor, as if no reign had occurred at all. This was not revisionism, it was ritual destruction. A tomb that should not exist when the burial chamber was discovered, expectations were low. Tombs of erased rulers were usually dismantled or looted long ago, but this one was different. Hidden deep beneath layers of stone and sand, the chamber was intact. No broken seals, no scattered treasure, no evidence of grave robbers. The builders had concealed it carefully, not to protect wealth, but to prevent discovery. Inside, the walls were covered in inscriptions, but none followed traditional funerary formulas. There were no declarations of purity, no boasts of good rule, no pleas for favorable judgment. Instead, the text was defensive. Urgent, afraid, prayers of refusal. Most tombs begged the gods for mercy. This one begged them for absence. Rather than inviting Osiris to weigh the heart, the inscriptions asked him to turn away. Anubis was asked not to guide the soul. Thoth was asked not to record his deeds. Even the 42 judges of the dead were named not in supplication but in warning. The message was consistent across the chamber: do not judge him. Judgment, in Egyptian belief, was not merely a trial. It was a transformation. A soul deemed worthy would pass into the field of reeds, continuing existence in eternal order. A soul found wanting would be devoured by Ammit and cease to exist. But these inscriptions imply a third fear, something worse than annihilation. A king who broke Ma'at. Historians have long speculated what crime could justify such an extraordinary response. Political failure alone would not suffice. Even tyrants were judged normally. The tomb suggests something more profound: a ruler who violated the very structure of cosmic order, one whose actions made him incompatible with judgment itself. If his heart were weighed, what would happen? The fear seems to be not that he would fail, but that the process would not contain him. In this interpretation, judgment becomes dangerous. The gods themselves are at risk. The sealing of the dead, unlike traditional royal burials, the sarcophagus was surrounded by additional stone barriers. Not protective layers, but isolating ones. The body was placed deeper than usual, encased in materials meant to separate rather than honor. There were no statues to receive offerings. No false doors for the spirit to pass through. The tomb was designed to be complete, closed, and permanent. It was not a gateway, it was a containment. The curse of silence, perhaps the most telling detail, is the absence of curses against tomb robbers. Egyptian tombs often warned intruders of divine punishment. This chamber had none. It did not threaten the living. It warned the dead. The inscriptions repeatedly emphasized stillness, forgetting, non-recognition. The language suggests the builders believed memory itself could activate something. That speaking his name, even in death, might allow him to participate in cosmic processes he should not enter. The successor's fear, the pharaoh who followed him, benefited from his erasure. Stability returned, records resumed. Temples were rebuilt, yet subtle signs of unease linger. Certain rituals were modified. Some funerary texts gained additional protective lines not seen before. Scholars believe these changes were not coincidental, but preventative measures designed to ensure no future ruler could become so dangerous again. The past had taught them something they did not wish to repeat. Why the tomb survived if the pharaoh was so feared, why not destroy his body entirely? The answer may lie in Egyptian belief itself. To desecrate a royal body was to risk cosmic imbalance. Destruction could release what containment suppressed. Burial, when done correctly, could neutralize without provoking. So they hid him, they erased him, and they left him untouched. Not forgiven. Not punished, simply excluded. Judgment denied in the Egyptian worldview. To be judged was a right. Even the wicked faced the scales. To deny judgment was to place someone outside the system entirely. The pharaoh who refused judgment or was refused by it exists in a liminal state, neither saved nor destroyed, neither remembered nor gone. A king without eternity. A warning across time. Modern scholars debate whether the fear reflected in the tomb was symbolic, political, or exaggerated by later generations. But the consistency of the evidence suggests genuine dread, not propaganda. This was not about rewriting history, it was about preventing recurrence. The tomb stands as a warning carved into stone. Some transgressions cannot be weighed, and some individuals must never face the gods not for their sake, but for everyone else's, and so, somewhere beneath the desert, a pharaoh lies untouched, unnamed, and unjudged, waiting in a silence that even the dead were asked to respect.